Give me a thumbs up when you've got it going. 5 waiting? All right. I'm just going to expect that there'll be more than that and do Kaddish. Let me know when it's on. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Another 6 days of work have passed, and Shabbat has returned. Holy One of blessing, thank you for bringing us together to light Shabbat lights, to join together in songs of praise, musical poetry, mystical poetry, deep prayer, both public and private, and for our friendship. Encourage us to feel comfort in one another's presence, integrating that joy emanating from the voices of all in this space into our own hearts. As the increased light and warmth of spring renews life in the natural world, let us be rejuvenated in body and heart to do good in the world. How beautiful is this day, a day of peace. Please open your prayer books to page 128. Ma yafeh hayom, how lovely today is. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Let us welcome one another into this respite in time. In the words of Abraham Joshua Heschel, Shabbat is a palace in time. So let us take in the air of this precious day to immerse in Shabbat together. Hine matov umanayim, the top of page 128. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. How wonderful to be with you tonight here in person and on YouTube, to pray and to rejoice in the presence of God on this sacred occasion of Shabbat. Yedid Nefesh, the melody that I started this evening's service with, is the third song down on page 128. Heart's delight, Yedid Nefesh. Source of mercy, draw your servant to your name. I leap like a deer to stand in awe before you. Join me. Yedid Nefesh Rachaman, Yedid Nefesh Rachaman, Meshoch Avdecha, Eretz Onecha, Meshoch Avdecha, Ya la 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 la, Eretz Onecha. Even as the sun continues to shine through our beautiful stained glass windows, we light Shabbat candles to usher in Shabbat. So I call on Andy to light the candles. The blessing can be found on page 120 in your prayer book. No, here, that way people can see your shade of pudding. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you. And with the candles lit, it is officially Shabbat. Page 129, Ki Eshma Shabbat. When I keep Shabbat, God watches over me. It is a sign forever between God and me. Ki Eshmera Shabbat, Yishmereini. Ki Eshmera Shabbat, Yishmereini. Oti We have greeted each other, sang psalms and songs of praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat is a joyous occasion. So let's bring it up a notch and welcome the angels to our sanctuary. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi HaShabbat, page 142, I think. Yes. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi HaSharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I believe it is just about time to open the door to welcome our Kala. Shekhinah, the name for God's dwelling presence, enters, and as we rise for the final verse of Lecha Dodi, then the room is filled with our special Shabbat guests so we can transition into central prayers. We will sing verses 1, 2, 8, and 9, and at verse 9, please rise, turn to the door, and welcome our Shabbat bride to the words, Boi Kala, Boi Kala, enter bride, enter. Page 138 and 139, verses 1, 2, 8, and 9. Lecha Dodi likrat Kala, Yelenai, 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 Pri Shabbat Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi likrat Kala, Yelenai, 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 Pri Shabbat Kabbalat. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmiyanu Echam Yuchad, Adonai Echad, Ushmo Echad, Shemul Tiferet Beliteila. Lecha Dodi likrat Kala, Yelenai, 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 Pri Shabbat Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi likrat Kala, Yelenai, 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 Pri Shabbat Kabbalat. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat Kala, Yelenai, 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 Pri Shabbat Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi likrat Kala, Yelenai, 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 Pri Shabbat Kabbalat. Yamin u'smol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai taritzi, ayadish ben patzi, v'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha Dodi likrat Kala, Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uv'tzochola toch emunei am segula boi kala lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Please remain standing. Turn to page 144 as we transition into the Baruch Hu prayers, beginning with our Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yamad yivrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael b'gala u'v'zman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam le'olmei maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekodesha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damira v'yalma v'yimeru amen. We stay standing. We face Jerusalem for the Baruch Hu. And please echo with the answering line, page 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Ma'ariv Aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe. Through speaking, brings on the evening, creating day and night with a word. Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhma poteach sheharim uvidvonam yeshaneh itim ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו אורי יום ולילה כולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Eloheinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'ma'arim V'Aravim. Page 150. Ahavat Olam. God, ever-loving God, you love us with an unending, unconditional love, just as we are. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amech Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Apen Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbeinu, u'kumeinu nasiach bechukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי חיים חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה. מאהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. We continue with the first and last paragraphs of the Ve'ahavta on page 154. We will chant them in Torah trope, and then I hope you will join me in the English translation at the bottom of the page. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'meitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם להוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem. Together in English, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Let us read again together on page 157, leading into our anthem of freedom, Milchamocha, sung by Miriam and Aaron and Moses at the opposite shores when they were redeemed from slavery in Egypt. Let us read together page 157 at the top. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 158. Mi chamocha ba'ilim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh pele, nora tehilot oseh pele, malechutzecha ra'u v'anecha, bokeh yam nifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zeili, Anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed, yai lai lai, yai la lai lai, yai la lai lai, yai la lai lai, la lai la 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 lai, yai la lai lai, yai la lai lai, yai la lai lai, la lai la 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 lai, yai la lai la la lai, la la lai lai, yai la lai lai, yai la 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai la lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. ונאמר כי פדרנו את יעקב ויעלום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גיא ישראל. Turning to page 160, Hashkivenu. This is a nighttime prayer. As shadows fall on us, as the sun sets and it is nighttime, we ask for God's sheltering presence to protect us and renew us, refreshed in the morning to do good. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. From the third line. Uveros aleinu sukat, sukat Sukkot Shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. I have yet to count how many times in Torah we are told to keep Shabbat as a covenant for all times. Seems like it's in just about every Torah portion. So let's just say, when your advertisers, when they want you to remember a date, a time, they say you've got to say it at least 7 times. And if any of you are parents or children for that matter, how many times have you heard the same thing over and over and over and over again to drill it into your head? Well, V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing it throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. Page 162. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinavash u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinavash. Please rise as we greet HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shekhinah, Holy One of Blessing, our little one-on-one with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the blessings of the Amidah, the standing prayer. We pray as if standing before royalty. We step back as we do the invocation, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, and then 3 steps forward, Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha, 3 words to go back, 3 words to go forward, and we bow and begin the Amidah, the series of standing prayers. We will do the invocation and then go into silence, so you can have your one-on-one in silence with God. And these blessings continue on through page 181. When you get there, I'll give you a few minutes. Just have a seat so I'll know that you have finished your moment, and we will continue on. 3 steps back. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ויעקב ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ויעקב ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ויעקב ישראל. 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 ואמרו אמן. We add to these prayers, these silent prayers, and the prayers we chanted aloud, a prayer for healing for those in our community and those in our hearts. Misha Berach, page 109 is the prayer, and I'm going to check and see if I have the list up here. This week we are saying prayers in our community for Sarah Gonius Murray, Marilee Newman, Helen Steger Avera, Edna Hutcherson, Jerome Commissar, Jennifer Nielsen, Charlie Scharfman, Chaya Sarah Bat Etka, Chana Bat Joya, Zvi Hanft, Carolyn Troiano, Robert Ray, Pat Bloom, Orly Chava Bat Sarah, Joel Solo, James Beardsley, Marilee Newman, Diane Rothberg, Pesach Ben Libat Zvi, Ahuva Bat Avraham Vasara, Jay Krasner, Bill Tucker, Maxima Daphna, Alexandra Simcha, and any whose names you wish to add at this time. And on YouTube, feel free to mention them now, although we can't hear you. We will send extra energy on behalf. When we say their names, we lift them up in prayer, give them extra healing energy. Avotenu mekor abracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Visheberach imotenu mekor abracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shleimah. wings of prayer. You can close your books for just a moment. While I speak a bit on Parsha, it's a double portion, Behar and Bechukotai in Leviticus, the final chapters of Leviticus. Thank goodness. It is springtime, so we are reading Leviticus and Torah. This is challenging for me every year. Torah's approach to law is reflective of the times in which the first children of Israel were living. It has become a custom for me when drashing Leviticus to counter the verses with how we can respect the word while acknowledging that the word can no longer be taken at face value. We don't stone people to death for swearing or evict them from society for digressing from the strictest laws of the observance of Shabbat, festivals, or other sacrifice. Humanity evolves, and we have come a long way from an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth justice. An example of outdated moral law in Behar, the first week's double portion of Torah, states that you should treat your kinsmen in need with respect. This courtesy is definitely not extended to the Gerim, the foreigners. As the laws of the Hebrews were established, they pertained to morality in terms very differently from today. We read in Torah this week that you should not make servants of kinsmen or charge interest on loans, and debt should be forgiven in the Shemitah year, the 7th year. However, it is explicitly said in this portion, you may hold foreign slaves, and the children of those slaves shall be yours, and you may pass them down as property to your children. As children of Israel, we are beholden to systems and structures to respect and care for one another, but not necessarily to hold these ethics up to the same light when interacting with foreigners and strangers, according to these words. These laws seem to conflict with the oft-repeated refrains from Exodus 23:9, you shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the feelings of a stranger, having been yourselves strangers in the land of Egypt. From just a couple of weeks ago in Leviticus, when a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong him. The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Also from the same chapter, in Deuteronomy, you too must befriend the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. And then a couple chapters later, you shall not hate an Egyptian, for you were strangers in this land. And in Deuteronomy 24, verse 22, always remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I do enjoin you to observe this commandment. So I'm deciding this evening to lean into the dichotomy of the law and contemporary morality. I don't remember the last time anyone offered me an interest-free loan or forgave debts every 7 years. And slavery is never right under any circumstance. The sages teach us that there is not a single word wasted in Torah. So I say the lesson in these important words, these conflicting words of Torah, that we learn to wrestle with them, discover for ourselves the conflicts in the lessons, and empower ourselves to choose the path of righteousness. Bechukotai, the second of this double portion, begins with the themes common to many Leviticus chapters. Im bechukotai telechu v'im mitzvotai v'natati geshmechem b'ti'itam. If you faithfully follow my commandments, I will give you rain in their season, so that the earth shall yield its fruit. In this chapter, the familiar formula follows. If you obey the laws that I command you, you will prosper. You will be fruitful and multiply. You will have many offspring. You will have peace. All of your enemies will fall. Yada, yada, yada. But if you don't follow these laws, I will wreak misery upon you. Your body will fail. Your children will die. Your land will not yield fruit. Your cattle will die, and you will fall before your enemies. Yada, yada, yada. Really? In what world does this ever happen? It is this logic that caused many Holocaust survivors to lose their faith. This is also the kind of language that turns many B'nai Mitzvah students from continuing their Jewish education. It is hard enough in this day and age to have a perfect faith in a God that does not show signs and wonders beyond doubt. These chapters do not help God's cause. Harold Kushner, in his best-selling book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People, says, we can't pray that God make our lives free of problems. This won't happen. And it's probably just as well. We can't ask him to make us and those we love immune to diseases because he can't do that. We can't ask God to weave a magic spell around us so that bad things will only happen to other people and never to us. People who pray for miracles usually don't get miracles any more than children who pray for bicycles, good grades, or good boyfriends get them as a result of praying. But people who pray for courage, for strength to bear the unbearable, for the grace to remember what they have left instead of what they have lost, very often find their prayer answered. In this quote, Kushner makes 2 points, one relevant to this chapter. Praying for things and being a moral person doesn't assure you material comfort any more than being morally vague or corrupt will assure that misfortune and ruin will be your destiny. And his second point, utilizing prayer as a tool for bettering oneself, not to be gifted these qualities, but as a motivation for perseverance, mindfulness, and inner strength. Prayer is not transactional. It is transcendental. No matter how frum you are, kosher you are, God is not going to give you a house or find your perfect mate. But if prayer is meaningful to you, if it gives you peace, clears the clutter, and helps shine a light on the way for you to better yourself, and girds you with courage to take the steps to live your best life, you can be transformed. Prayer, God light, mitzvot. Lather, rinse, and repeat. And now we will transition to our closing prayers. It is the period of the Omer, between where we count the days and the weeks, the 50 days, 7 weeks plus 1 day, from Pesach to Shavuot. And we will do that tonight on page 570 in the prayer book with a quick blessing and accounting. This is just a very quick thing, 570. Hineni mukhan umzuman l'kayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat ha'omer. I am ready to fill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam
ושלישים יום, שכם 5 שבועות ושני ימים לעומר.
Today is day 37, which is 5 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. We turn to page 586 and rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים עמהו, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים. ואלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים עמהו, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. Page 590. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, can be found on page 598. This week at CBI, we are remembering the yahrzeits of Alexander Cohen, Samuel Cohen, Libby Fox, Nathan Goldfarb, Rita Goldman, Rochelle Grosser, Regina Azakowitz, Isidore Kaufman, Beatrice Levine, Martin Mate, Isidore Oberman, Nathan Peselnick, Eleanor Pollock, Joan Perot, Raymond Rappaport, Leonard Edward Rosenthal, Natalie Strassman, Harold Valk, and we are in either Shliva or Shoshim for Karen Ann Farber, wife of Stephen Miller, Evan Mueller, grandfather of Natalie Johnson, Trayton John Nat Zamrikut, brother of Lorindo Rosario, and Peter Valk, brother of Amy Stromberg. Are there any other names of people you are in mourning for? Robert Halper. For those who are in mourning, those who wish to join them, please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shmei Rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Omei Omaya. Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Dukurisha Brichu Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata Ta'miram v'yalma v'imru Amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. Some announcements. Tomorrow morning there will be a bat mitzvah or b mitzvah of Mars Burnett. You're welcome to join the service. It is a reform style morning service at 10 a.m. And then at 5:30 that evening, tomorrow evening, celebrate our beautiful new roof, which is on the other side of this. The historic CBI building, the CBI community, and the culture of generosity that made this project possible. Join us and many of your friends for a big community celebration. There will be great food and drinks, champagne, live music, guided tours of our building, and some fun surprises. Registration is required, and the link can be found in this week's newsletter. And then on Tuesday, May 16th at 6:30 p.m. on Zoom is the annual congregational meeting. I'm sure that your email has been flooded with information about this. Please join the annual congregational meeting. Your attendance is very important. Hear from committees and leadership, hear CBI's plans for the future, get a full picture of the congregation's finances, and most importantly, help us elect a new board and pass important amendments to the bylaws. If you cannot attend the meeting, please make sure to fill out a proxy. The Zoom link has been sent out via email, and there may actually be paper copies in the lobby. Yes. Okay. So if you haven't already filled out a proxy and you know that you can't come at 6:30 to the Zoom, before you leave, sign that out, and I'll find the right person for it to go to. Do you know, Sydney, if there's a box there? Yes. Awesome. So you don't have to leave it with me. Just put it in the box. Awesome. All right. So we will close with Adon Olam, page 625. Melody. I think I'm going to do this. It's always there's so many melodies. You can choose whatever you want, and it'll work because of its strophic makeup. I'm going to do it too. The water is wide. Do you know that melody? It's very repetitive, so you pick it up. It's a beautiful melody. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Leid Nasa B'cheso Kol Azai Melech Shemon Hikra Ve'acharei Kichot HaKol Levado Yinyuch Nora Ve'hu Hayah Ve'hu Hoveh Ve'hu Yeh Ve'tifara Ve'hu Echad Ve'en Sheni
וחם שילה להכבירה ולראשית ולתכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי וצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בעדו אבקירכי בעת אישה והעירה והברכי יביאתי אדוני לי ולא יירא.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom on YouTube. We in here are going to go say Kiddush and Motzi in the other room. You go ahead up there on YouTube and you do that on your own. Pull out your challah and your wine and say Kiddush.